This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family. Whoa, wait a minute. Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy, ladies and gentlemen. There I am on the screen now. What can we say about these New York Knicks? 93-92, they get the win over the Brooklyn Nets, but it wasn't pretty. The Knicks survived a 17-0 run in the fourth quarter to the Brooklyn Nets. How is that? I mean, it's almost laughable, with this basketball team. I struggle to understand it sometimes, Tony. Sometimes I just don't get it. The Knicks are up 84-70 to a team that's playing with a bunch of kids. And you give up a 17-0 run. I don't know what to say sometimes. Obviously, I'm happy we got the win because we need the win. And I'm sure most people will say, hey, just be happy we got the win. And I don't know. I'm not just happy with that. You know what I'm saying? Because we start off slow, right? They lead first quarter. They lead at halftime. We go up double digits in the third, and then we let them back in the game with a 17-0 run. I sometimes I just question the focus. Like, how much focus do we have? Do we have focus? You know what I'm saying? Because, against the Nets, and I know, listen, they're NBA players, so teams are going to play hard. Guys are going to play hard. I don't know. It's just hard for me to, I don't know, Tony, what do you think, man? I'm sometimes at a loss for words with this basketball team.
Yeah, man. First off, let me give a shout out to both you and Eru. I seen the show the other night. It's the first time I seen it with the intro and the video. You know what I mean? Yeah, the joint is fire. Dope. Salute to y'all. Great show. The Eru, the Die Hard Hour. If you guys aren't tuning in, baby.
Tune in for sure.
Yeah, man, this might be our worst game of the season. This is most definitely our worst win of the season, if that can even be
win of the season.
And I feel like I said that before, our worst win of the season, but this is the you know what I mean. This surpassed whatever game the other one I said that. 14-point first quarter, worst of the season. Lowest scoring quarter of the season. Like you said, it's the Brooklyn Nets that have no one. I mean, the guy that they have didn't even play tonight. You know what I mean? The one guy they have didn't even play tonight.
Right.
And again, this is the trend that has been killing us that we've been talking about, even though we've been winning these slow starts. You know what I mean? Because you can't bank on coming back in this fashion and winning games in this fashion in the playoffs.
Right.
We've seen it done by this team last year, yes. But you know what I mean? It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
And last year's team is a different team than this year. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that to say that we can't come back. I'm just saying it's a different team, so we don't know what their reaction to playoff basketball is going to be because they're, slightly different basketball team with a different coach. You know what I mean? So that's something we're still we're still waiting to see what we look like in the playoffs under Mike Brown. You know what I mean? The focus just with this team wavers. You know, it's just a wavering focus, it seems to me. You know,
you almost hope that they're playing to you. You almost hope that it's the competition that it is the reason that they're doing this. Because at least if that's the case, you know the competition is heightened in the playoffs.
that's true.
You know what I mean?
Right. I get that. It's just, clearly the Knicks will be more focused. You would think they're going to be more focused against playoff caliber basketball teams. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes the lack of focus can cause bad habits. Right? And if you get caught up into those bad habits, now it's hard to break those bad habits. You know what I'm saying? And if we get caught, if we fall into a trap of starting sluggish or having slow starts, allowing teams to jump out the leads, like you said, we're not, it's going to be way more difficult to come back in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? It just is. No love for the refs. Thank you for joining in with us. Said the Knicks have been forcing sudden death all year, whether it's strategy or not. I can't knock folks for complaining about the high blood pressure. For real. I mean, I can't see it being strategy. It's not strategy that you get down in a game. It may be strategy that I'm not going to play my best players. It may be strategy that you're not going to use all of your tools. If you have certain strategies that you are planning to use at a certain time of the season, in the playoffs or whatever, all right, you don't use them. But when you go out there to play, especially a team like the Brooklyn Nets, you don't need all these crazy strategies to have a big lead. We blew them out by 50 the last time, right? You don't need all these crazy strategies. You just need focus and hard work. Play defense. And, I mean, the lack of focus all night. You got OG getting into little scuffles with guys. Mitch getting into little scuffles with guys. You know what I'm saying? These guys they're playing for their careers. They're playing to prove that they belong in the league. They're playing for contracts, things like that. They're not playing for, the playoffs. They're not playing for a ring. You know what I'm saying?
I'll say this. My bad about the Mitch thing. I credit Mitch with that just for the simple fact, coming off the Embiid incident. You know what I mean? Like he's probably on some I'm not playing around with potentially getting hurt. You know what I mean? Somebody hurting my career. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm not gonna take that lightly. It was a dangerous play. I don't think it was malicious or any malintent, but it was it's one of them effort plays that you might have to let go, and you learn that in the league. Yeah. That was a young guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just not
and
being headsy.
The last thing we need is somebody getting hurt. Because of a scuffle. I mean, you're going to protect yourself. I'm saying an uncalled for scuffle, right? Somebody getting hurt, someone getting suspended, those type of things, right? We don't need that. And to me, that points to a lack of focus. You knew that they were going to come in and they're trying to prove a point because of the way we beat them the last time. You know what I'm saying? It's the crosstown rival. They hear the chitter and the chatter and all of that. So, of course, they're going to come out and do things. You've got to be smarter. I don't know. Just a lack of focus tonight from this team, in my opinion. And, we've got to be better. We've got to be better. And, part of that does come with, I agree, right? Come with, you're playing bad competition right now. And we're still in the stretch of playing bad competition. You know what I'm saying? We got, who do we got coming up next? The Wizards, right? Then the Pelicans. just, we're in a stretch where we're just not playing good basketball teams. So our focus level has to be higher. We can't let it drop. We're playing young. The Wizards are super young. The Nets are super young. They're not going to have the type of focus that we should have. And they'll draw you in. We've just got to be smarter than that. Play better. You know what I mean? I don't even know what else to say to that. That's just what we have to do. We got to be smarter. We got to be better. Make better decisions on the court. Stay focused. I mean, we scored 93 points against the Nets. 93.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, the defense wasn't the problem. It's like, where was the offense? Where was, like you're saying, the focus?
Yeah.
Where throughout the game? Like, I thought Karl Anthony Towns had a pretty good game.
Cat did until he missed those two free throws at the
maybe
end.
minus the first quarter, and
the first quarter and the last two free throws.
Yeah. And the missed free throws.
I was like, what happened? He was 11 for 11.
Yeah, he had 11 straight too, right?
Yeah, 11 straight. I mean, at some point he was probably going to miss one. Most of the time that happens. But so when he missed one, I was like, all right, he'll make the next one. Missed that one too. You know what I mean? I was like, oh my gosh, Cat. If they come back and hit a game winner, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of those type of games, man. I mean, but Cat had a great game, beyond that. He was 26 points, 15 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. He was 7 for 16 from the field. Only took 3 3-pointers, 1 for 3 from the 3-point line, 11 for 13 from the free throw line. Again, he missed those last 2 that he took to give the Nets a chance to.
And prayers out to his dad. I don't know what's going on, but apparently he's going through something. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
Prayers out to his dad.
And look, this tells you how. Let me read the box score and then I'll get to that. Jalen Brunson tonight, 17 points, 8 assists. Didn't really shoot the ball well, not from the field, not from the 3-point line. He shot 16% from the 3-point line. He shot 37% from the field. OG Anunoby, 16 points tonight. OG, when he really wanted to, he could bull his way to the basket. He could, he was dunking on, he can almost do what he wanted to when he wanted to out there for real.
I was gonna say OG had the biggest 16 points of his career. Like, because to your point, again, that he's getting a lot more polish with that attacking at the rim. You know what I mean? Like, now he's taking off from a little bit further.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's rising above defenders. This is very encouraging to me. It wasn't a standout game, but the buckets that he did get, I love the fashion in which he did. And that's what it was too. The 3 wasn't really falling for him. So he went and started attacking the rim.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna have to mix it up all the time though.
Yeah.
The 3 ball, but keep putting that pressure on the rim. I think that's a game changer for us.
Yeah, for sure. Mikal Bridges, 35 minutes and 36 minutes tonight. 9 points. Did have 7 rebounds. 9 points tonight. Only took 7 shots. I mean, it's becoming just commonplace for him not to score 10 points.
I was gonna say he's extending another streak.
Come on, like what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? 9 points for Mikal Bridges tonight, and this is against a bad team, a former team at that, but a bad team.
And that's how you know he's really slumping, because he usually plays good against Brooklyn.
Yeah. 9 points tonight. He shot 42.9% from the free throw line. I mean, from the field, and he only took 2 3-pointers tonight. Made 1, missed 1. Made 1. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, he made 1, missed 1. 50%. Jordan Clarkson. We did, Clarkson versus Bridges last night. And the things just keep holding true to what we talked about last night. Clarkson, 21 minutes, he had 9 points. Right? Literally 14 more minutes for Bridges. That's a lot of time. And he scored the same amount of points. I mean, Diawara had 19 minutes and he scored 8 points. You know, it's alarm. It's beginning to be alarming to me because he's a guy that, you know, for his career averages 15 points a game. And now over the last 15, he can't score 10. You know, it's alarming. It's alarming. It's a scary proposition to me because, you know, the guy should be able to, you know, he should be dropping 15 in his sleep. You know what I'm saying? That should be easy for him. 15 points, bang. You know, I don't know. I don't want to keep harping on it, but it befuddles me. You know what I'm saying? Mitchell Robinson, 3 points, 10 rebounds tonight. For Mitch, he played 23 minutes and 49 seconds.
I like that they're throwing the lobs. They got to get a little bit more accurate.
Right. Yeah, for sure. You know, I don't know. Give me a call, ladies and gentlemen. 516-362-5212. I want to know what you think about it. How you feel about just what's going on with, you know, I mean, the Knicks are winning. They're on a 5-game winning streak. Right? And they haven't, these 5 wins haven't been pretty. We've had to, you know, we've started off down 17, 18 points, have to come back. You know, we're doing it against bad teams. We'll be playing OKC soon. You know, and that's a statement type of game. You know, we should be using these, like, we should be just, you know, we're not going to just stomp every team, but most of these guys, we should be stomping them out, in my opinion. But we're not. And it you know, concerns me just a little bit. And, you know, just looking at, here's the type of team we were playing. With 1.5 seconds left. And this just shows how young they are. With everything spread out, right, for the Nets. They're inbounding the ball. Everything's spread out. They have an opportunity to run up the court and get a pass going towards the rim. Right? Get a pass going towards the hoop. Instead, they just pass it to the backcourt for the guy to take 1-2 dribbles and shoot the ball from half court. Doesn't even make sense. I mean, I don't even know the guy's name, but instead of standing there, if he would have darted up the court, he would have at least gotten a 3-point shot up. You know what I'm saying? Because the floor was wide open for them to just make a move up the court and get a pass off. Instead, they throw it back, you know, and they got to take a heave from half court. But that just shows you how young they are and the lack of basketball IQ.
That's why I say this is the worst win of the season, because I think we play any other team we play in this scenario, we lose this game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Any other team in the league.
I agree with that.
Wizards included.
We'll see, because we play them next. We play them next. You know? Boy, I don't know. You know, have you thought any more about what we were talking about last night with Bridges? Does he need a break?
I mean, when you look at the two streaks, you know what I mean? Are they related? You know what I mean? The under 10 points and Iron Man streak. Again, if we do it like we said, and you giving him whatever minutes he needs to maintain his streak, but then you go ahead and rest him, I'm not opposed to that, but I still think that's something that he got to ask for, and I don't think he does. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's something the team is going to implement unless he's relaying, you know, some type of ailment, some type of fatigue or whatever. again, Mike Brown went on a record. If anybody asks for a day, I'll give him a day.
Yeah.
You gotta ask for it.
I mean,
Now, and we talked about that part too. Like, if it's you, if it's me, we not trying to give up that streak. You know what I
right,
mean? Like, so it might even be an integrity thing. You know what I mean? I'm gonna play and I'm gonna play my minutes.
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, but at some point, as a coach, you might have to step in and say, "Hey, this is what I got to do." If that's what they see, maybe they don't see that he's fatigued, and maybe he's not fatigued. I don't know. I'm asking the question. You know what I mean?
I
I don't
put it
know.
more to a shooting slump though. I put it more to a shooting slump more than anything. Again, I keep saying it. That's how he started the year last year, and it took a minute for him to kind of find his groove. Shooting wise, you know
Yeah,
what I mean. If you remember, like it was all those picks from the you know what I mean. Like that. That's how the year started for him.
yeah,
Um, Maybe he's in that same type of slump, and hopefully it just takes some time to
yeah. I mean,
break
but
out
now,
of it.
but now we're at the
Ain't
end of
much
the
time
season.
left.
That's what I'm saying. Right now, we're at the end of the season. You know, I don't know. It's just been so many games. It's almost starting to feel like, when does a slump turn into this is who he is?
But he started the season great, so I
I
can't.
know.
You know what I mean? Like it can't be. It can't be. This is who he is because it looked like he was gonna have a breakout year real early in the year. You know what I mean? And even when things weren't looking great, there was the argument. Oh, McCall's been the most consistent. You know what I
Right.
mean? Player on the team when other guys were slumping. So I I I I still have confidence he'll find his way. Um, in the meantime, though, credit Mike Brown for again. Mikhail opened the door for Clarkston, right? He was out the loop, and even going to DOR tonight looking for some energy or you know what I mean? Like the fact that we have guys on that back end that could fulfill some of the things we're missing with Macau right now. I think is that's still a great thing that we have. You know what I mean? It's really up to Mike Brown on recognizing when do I sit Mikal, how long do I sit Mikal, and when do I go to whoever I decide to go to on a night to night basis. So it's a tough job, but I mean now we're gonna really find out who Mike Brown is, right?
Yeah.
The, but I love the fact that we've seen him sit Mikal to close games. You know what I mean, and go with somebody else. You know what I mean. So it's not like I want Mikel to be his best, but it's not like we don't have the pieces behind him to kind of fill the void.
Can the Knicks make it to the finals with Macau playing like this?
I don't think so, but again, I, you look at the Boston series, right? Or those first two games in particular. He was slumping in those two games.
Mm-hmm.
It came up with stops to win us a game, to win us both of those games. You,
Right.
you, you know what I mean? So he does other things that he can still impact winning.
He can. Um, you know, I don't know.
I
It's
get it,
just it's
man. We
just
need
hard,
more from
man.
him.
It's
I
just hard.
agree.
It's just hard
We
because
got we got to wait it out right now. Now, if we flame out in the playoffs and he's playing like this, yeah, fingers pointed. You know what I mean? But I see a lot of people like, all right, he'll get it. I mean, he'll bounce back in the playoffs. He'll be ready for the playoffs. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm banking on right
Yeah.
now.
Maybe when we get to the end of the season, there'll be a week before the playoffs begin, and maybe that week is where he can really recalibrate, readjust. You know what I'm saying? So then when the playoffs start, he can get back into the groove. We got what, 11 games left to the season? 11 games left, but they're all going to be important games. Every one of them will be important coming down the stretch because, Boston's not losing either. They keep winning, right? So in order for us to catch Boston, we've got to continue to win. We got to match them. We got to continue to win and then beat them when we play them. Right?
You know what, Sim? One thing I will say, though, if Mikal decides to sit out a game, I respect that. I respect him. You know what I'm saying? Because now at that point, now it really becomes about sacrifice, right? Like who's taking that kind of sacrifice? All right, I'm gonna go start a new streak, but I got, you know what I mean? I gotta take this day off. The reason I do think he might need it because everybody else gets it, right? Mm-hmm. Brunson just got his day off, you know what I mean? Towns was questionable for personal reasons, but we've seen Towns get the day off. You know what I mean? We've seen OG miss some time or miss a singular game. Josh Hart the same. He was out tonight. You know what I mean? So everybody else gets that management time.
Right.
And if you're not doing it because of the streak and solely because of the streak, now maybe that becomes a detriment.
Yeah. When you look at, those guys, the thing about those guys is they don't have a streak. Right. So, of course, it doesn't mean as much to them. It's a tough situation. It's almost like that year when Melo was hurt and the playoffs were, the All-Star game was at the Garden and he decided that he was going to play and people were like, yo, that's mad selfish. You're hurt. You shouldn't be playing, da-da-da. But he's like, yo, in his brain, he's like, it's at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I'm the guy at this point.
But yeah, I'm the ambassador. I'm the guy. You know what I'm saying? I want to get out there and represent the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. You know what I mean? Because if not, then who's going to be there? Like this is Madison Square Garden. And I understood that. A lot of people felt like that was selfish. I kind of understand where Bridges is coming from. You know what I'm saying? I got a streak. If I can play, I want to play. I want to keep it intact. I definitely understand that. And him probably having a mindset, let me play through it. Let me get through it. I'll get a chance to rest. Let me play through
it. And not for nothing, it's not like it's a streak that came up. Like this is his career, right? Like he never missed a game, period. So the thought process probably is I always play through it until you know what I mean? Like I always find my way through it. Like I'm sure he's not going through anything current excuse me, currently that he's never dealt with throughout his career. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Especially when you think about that usage rate thing.
Yeah.
Because it's not like that's up.
Right. I guess we'll see. He took 7 shots tonight. When you talk about usage rate, he took 7 shots tonight. We'll see. It's just hard to say. Right now the Knicks are actually a game and a half behind Boston right now. The Knicks need Boston to lose a game, right, in order to catch them. They need Boston to lose a game so that when they play, that way if the Knicks win, they have the same number of losses in the loss column, and the Knicks should have the tiebreaker against them, Right now, Boston is 47-23. The Knicks are 46-25. They're a game and a half above the Knicks. And, you know, they won tonight. Boston won tonight. Obviously, the Knicks won tonight. Their schedule isn't that much tougher than the Knicks, to be honest with you. You know, so the Knicks need Boston to at least drop one. The Knicks got to keep winning and then take out Boston when they play in a couple of weeks. You know, Detroit won tonight. They clinched a playoff berth. All right, they beat the Warriors 115-101, obviously without Cade Cunningham. All right, they clinched a playoff berth. They are currently 51-19. This guarantees that they'll be in the top 6. All right, they got 70? They got 12 games left to the season. If they dropped all 12, I guess if they dropped 12 straight, they could still be, they would have 31 losses. I doubt they're going to drop 12 straight. But they've clinched top 6 in the Eastern Conference. You know, the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Cleveland Cavaliers have all clinched, at the very least, a postseason berth, which means they'll at least be in the play-in. Now we know the Knicks are going to be in the playoffs, but we're just going by that seeding right now in the Western Conference. OKC, they've clinched the Northwest Division. Obviously, they've clinched a playoff spot. The San Antonio Spurs have clinched a playoff spot. The Los Angeles Lakers, the Rockets, the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, and the Phoenix Suns have all clinched a postseason berth. You got the Trailblazers, Clippers, and Golden State Warriors battling for, the 8th, 9th, and 10th positions in the Western Conference. Eastern Conference, you got Atlanta, Miami, Philadelphia, Charlotte, all battling for a play-in spot. Orlando is kind of battling, to stay in the playoffs. Toronto's kind of battling to stay in the playoffs. Toronto was 39-29, 11 games behind first place. Orlando was 38-31, a game and a half behind Toronto. And Atlanta is the 7th seed right now. They're a half game behind Orlando. So look, that little thing right there keeps changing around as the season goes on. They're jockeying for position right now. Jockeying for position right now. The Knicks right now have just, they've been holding steady in that 3rd seed. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they're 2.5 games behind the Knicks. They've won 2 in a row. The Knicks have won 5 in a row. The Knicks just gotta keep winning. They just got to keep winning, and hopefully they'll catch Boston. And, I guess the chance is there, like we talked about last night, but I don't think anyone's catching Detroit right now. But even without Cade Cunningham, I think their schedule is soft enough where they can get through the remainder of the season, remaining in that number 1 seed. I think we'll see, but that's what I think.
I think everything's on the table, to be honest. Respectfully, I seen a lot of people, once the Cade Cunningham news came out, a lot of people talking about, Boston could catch them now. Boston could catch them now. But my thoughts is, if Boston could catch them, so can we. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think everything's on the table, but we just got to take care of our games.
Yeah.
Let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. Ah, boy. You would
think that if the Knicks is chasing that number 1 seed, though, they would be playing with more urgency.
More
than
urgency, right?
They have been.
Right. Playing with a little bit more urgency. I mean, one of the toughest things is when you're not playing really well and you win. Right? Because that begins to reward bad habits. Right? You're still winning. Okay, well, we keep getting down in games, but we win. Right? It rewards bad habits, but you want to win. So, it's tough. The Knicks have got to find a way to be disciplined and discipline themselves, even though they're winning, discipline themselves to break out of these bad habits. What is it that is causing the Knicks? And you're from what you see, what is it that is causing the Knicks to have slow starts?
I mean, right now I'm going with the playing to the level of the competition, whether it's like overconfidence, a lack of respect for the opponent, whatever, but something in that realm. Because for the most part, you know what I mean. These are teams that we shouldn't have any real struggle with, especially if we focus. So right now I'm going with that. Currently, with with the competition we've been playing. Yeah. Now, granted, it's been good teams that we've played that it's been the same thing. Yeah. But X's and O's wise, it's really about shot making, because I don't think it's or turnovers. You know what I mean? We've been, but that's in this recent stretch. But for like the overall, it's really us not hitting shots, missing shots that we should make. It's not like we're taking bad shots. It's not like we you know what I mean? Like we're missing shots that we usually make and end up making throughout the rest of the game.
Right. Sean Richardson said the Knicks beat a better team last year. This is the same Celtics team without Porzingis, Holiday, and Horford. I ain't worried about Boston. You're never worried about any team, Sean. You're never worried about any team. Ever. In the history of New York Knicks basketball, you have never been worried about any team.
Except the Knicks.
Except the Knicks. With Tibbs coaching, right? Listen. Stop banking on last year to get us through. This is not last year. Even if Tibbs was here, it's not last year. This is a different team. It's a different year. Every year you start from scratch, building your habits, your chemistry, all of those things. You got to forget about last year, Sean. This is not last year. The Celtics aren't the same. The Celtics might be stronger than last year. Right? They were the second seed without Jason Tatum. Okay? They weren't supposed to be. But they've now found a way to play and win without Jason Tatum. You don't think that makes them better?
And all them, like, not only did Jaylen Brown elevate his game, but all their mainstays from the championship team elevated their game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Pritchard elevated his game. Hauser elevated his game. Maybe not White, even though I think he might have missed a lot of time this year.
Yeah.
But he might be the only one that is not playing better than their championship year.
Right. But I mean, how Jason Tatum is, is he going to be the same Jason Tatum in the playoffs? What, and all of that? I don't know, but this team is probably better right now than last year. Can we beat them? Of course we can. I'm not saying we can't. But don't sit there and act like there's no teams that can beat us either.
And Tatum might be more dangerous in the reserve role. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if he just got to kind of catch and shoot, you know what I mean? And not have to dribble too much, you know what I mean? To kind of get his buckets, he might be even more dangerous.
Yeah. You know, listen, the Knicks, if they handle business, they're going to be okay. And right now, you're looking and saying a lot of it is about us. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it is about us, and can we get our shit together? And I know, Sean, you're like, oh, we're 1-5 straight against bad competition, and we've had to, put together comebacks to win those games. So obviously we can win, but is there a lack of focus? And if there's a lack of focus, does it boil over to playing against better teams? We got to take those things into consideration. You know what I mean? Those things mean something to me. They mean something to me. Looking at the stats tonight, the Knicks didn't shoot the ball well at all tonight against Miami. Against Brooklyn. They shot 40% from the field. They shot 27.6% from the three-point line. They won the rebounding battle 52-40. 22 assists for the Knicks tonight. The Nets had 28 assists, actually. Knicks only 22. 10 steals, 5 blocks, 17 turnovers for the Knicks.
I'm telling you, turnovers and shooting.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't think we live and die by the three.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it's a rough road for us if we not shooting the three ball well.
Yeah. Yeah. You look at, we give up a 17-0 run. 17
That's probably our
turnovers.
longest run too
of
the year as well.
Right, exactly.
I'm telling you, this is the worst win of the year.
Right. 17 turnovers. It all points to a lack of focus. And I'm pretty positive that Mike Brown is pointing this out to him. Like, we're not focused. We're not focused. Our focus isn't there. We're winning, but we're not focused. You can't let the wins disguise the issues, Sean. You know what I mean? If you do that, then you're not really preparing your team to win a championship. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. Sean said if the Knicks would have lost 5 to bad competition, he would be going crazy. Don't minimize winning streaks. I don't care who they're playing. I'm not minimizing the winning streak. We're all happy that we won 5 straight, right? Just like I said to you, Sean, a long time ago when we were losing some games, that if we were playing well in those losses, I wouldn't be upset. But we weren't playing well. It's about playing well. It's not necessarily about the wins and losses. It's about playing good basketball. That's what it's about, playing good basketball. And that's what I was meaning during those losses. You can lose and play very well. That happens. You can win and play terrible. It happened tonight. It's about how you play, not just the wins and losses. If you play good basketball, everything else is going to take care of itself. You'll take some losses, but you're playing good basketball. Well, over this win streak, the Knicks haven't played good basketball. It's been subpar. We might be more talented than teams, so we can win. But it's been subpar, and you just got to admit that, Sean. And if you're going to go into the playoffs playing subpar basketball, you're going to get eliminated. You've got to be focused enough to step up.
So imagine Karl Anthony Towns didn't play tonight.
Right. Imagine that. Imagine that.
He was the catalyst of the comeback from the beginning. You know what I mean? There's not even a comeback without Towns' performance.
Yeah. You know, we just Sean, we just got to play better. We got to get into gear and play better. That's all I'm saying to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to poo-poo on the winning streak or anything like that. I just want us to play better basketball. You know, I don't want us to have to come back every game. I don't want us to give up 17 to 0 runs to the Brooklyn Nets. You know what I'm saying? Look at Sean. As long as we got one more point than the other team at the final buzzer, I don't give a damn how they're playing. Well, if they keep playing bad, then the other team is going to have one more point than us every game. That's why you should care about how we're playing. Because just like I said, you pick up bad habits. And when you win while playing bad, you reward the bad habits. And so like you, Sean, you say, I don't care how we got there. We won. And I understand your logic, but you've got to care about the nuances if they're playing well. Right? Now, you know, a team is going to have off nights. They're not going to shoot the ball well. Some nights they're going to have turnovers. But when you start to see trends, that's when you get concerned and you know you got to fix it. You know you got to change it. Well, the trend has been we're not playing well to start games. We're getting down double-digit points. We were up 14 points and gave up a 17-0 run. Make it make sense, Sean. Richardson, 1, 2, 3. You know? Yeah. Pressure said the Knicks is just showing it would be hard just to beat them when they're on point. You're right. When the Knicks are on point, it is hard to beat them. And this is the reason why I am concerned about their lack of focus. Because they are hard to beat when they're on point. That's without a doubt. But they're not always focused. They're not a team that has focus all the time. Just straight focused. To me, if they had that type of focus, they'd have the record of OKC. They'd have the record of the Detroit Pistons if they had that type of focus. But the focus is not always there. You know? I don't know. Do you agree with that, Tony? Or anything you disagree with?
I agree with everything you just said. To be honest, and I think the biggest point you made was when we were losing the games, and it was the way we were losing. Because you clearly said if we were playing well and we was losing, it wouldn't be that serious. And now we're still playing bad, but we're winning games, and we got to fix that trend.
Yeah. And
I agree. Yes, if we're on point, we're the toughest team in the world. But again, when we get these tougher competition, which these playoff matchups will be, and there'll be it's about hyper focus at that point. You know what I mean? Like it's about focus, possession in, possession out. It's about focus, game in and game out.
Yeah, exactly.
Refocusing because you're making adjustments or you're adjusting to adjustments. So you got like the focus level has to be A1 all the time. And we're not even showing that we could do this to start games. We can't even do this like for stretches of games. Like it's worrisome for the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Sean said they're playing at half gas with Mike Brown as they did with Thibodeau and still winning at the same pace. They're ramping up for the playoffs. Trust me, no one wants to play the Knicks in the playoffs. Are they ramping up? Because it seems to me like guys are still sitting out. Right? It seems to me like guys are still sitting out. I mean, we just scored 93 points against the Brooklyn Nets. You know what I mean? We're winning games because we have a soft schedule right now. If we were playing better teams with this type of play, we'd look different. Our record would look different, in my opinion. In my opinion, our record would look different. But we're in a soft spot in the schedule, so we're able to beat these teams as we should. But we should be beating them in a different fashion. Not to say that here and there's not going to be a slip up. There will be. That's without a doubt. There will be. You know what I'm saying? But, no. Listen, look. The Knicks lost to the Lakers. They lost to the Clippers. And then here we go with a bad team. They got down double digits against the Jazz and had to come back and won that game. Right? They beat the Pacers 101-92. I don't remember. I think
that was shaky.
It was a shaky game a little bit.
That was shaky.
Right?
It was shaky down the stretch, too.
Shaky down the stretch. The Knicks almost lost to the Warriors at home with who? With who the hell? Out there on the court. Right? They almost lost to these dudes. I think we beat the Pacers 136-110 at home. I don't remember if that one, I forgot. I don't remember if I'd have to go back and look at that one, right? And that was just last game. I think we had to come back, or whatever. But then of course we did what we did against the Nets tonight.
And those two losses, you know what I mean, are playoff teams.
Playoff teams.
The Lakers are on. They look like they ramping up for the playoffs.
Exactly.
You know what I mean.
Right.
As do the Clippers to a lesser degree.
Right.
If you want to be honest, so it don't look the same when you talk about our last two losses. Those are our last two losses, right?
Those are our last two losses.
Yeah. If you look at our last two losses and those two teams look like they're ramping up for the playoffs. We do not.
We do not. Right. Right now, the Lakers are 45-25. Third in the Western Conference. The Clippers 34-36 during the play-in. Let me ask you this, Tony. If we turn around and play the Hornets on the 26th and lose, and then play the Thunder on the 26th and lose, right? How will that make you feel? Because those are two playoff teams. Well, a playing team in the Hornets and then a playoff team in the Thunder. The Thunder may not be playing their guys at that point, but
again, I mean, if they playing without, you know what I mean, without their main guys, obviously that becomes even more of a letdown. But no matter what, it's really about how do we play. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because if we're playing our best game, I don't think either one. Well, definitely Charlotte. I think we should be able to beat them. No disrespect to, even though they're playing well. And again, OKC, it's like last year, man. Just compete at this point, right? Compete, right. Play your best game, and see what we could do.
Yeah, for me, it sends a message if that happens, right? Because our last two losses were the playoff teams, and then we turn around and we lose again the playoff teams. It sends a message that I don't want to think about, but I'm kind of forced to. But it sends a message to me, that our focus isn't there. So, okay, we take care of these teams, which of course I want to, Sean, Fred, all of you guys. Of course I want to, but I want us to take care of the Charlotte Hornets. I want us to take care of the OKC Thunder. I want us to take care of the Houston Rockets when we get to those games. I don't want it to just be that we're beating up on these guys. And here we go, here we go again with the regular season stuff. They don't get it. They don't understand. Don't
I'm
understand.
I'm rewatching this game right now, and we really just missed a lot of shots in this first quarter. Like just bunnies, all that. Brunson took a lot of bad shots. I mean, he missed some good shots too, but he had a couple of forced shots as well. And back to the whole Clarkson thing, man. He's just the way he attacks the rim constantly. You know what I mean? Like there's really not anyone else on the team that does that besides Brunson.
Right.
You know, Alvarado could get in the paint, but he's kind of looking to distribute.
Right.
But it really comes down to just hitting shots in that first quarter now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. It does. You know, Fred said, why are y'all so worried about regular season losses? We all know the playoffs is what matters. Okay, I'm just going to say this, and I'll leave it here. The regular season is where you build the habits. You build good habits, you build bad habits. And you take these habits into the playoffs. I can guarantee you, each time we lose a game in the playoffs is not going to be something new. It's going to be something that we've seen in the regular season. Each time we win in the playoffs, it won't be something new. It'll be something that we've seen in the regular season. It'll be habits that we built.
Mm-hmm. And those habits could be reasons we lose.
Right.
You know what I mean? We get up to a slow start in the playoff game. You know what I mean? We might directly credit that to the reason we lost that game.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If we can't knock down our open threes, or if we're giving up the open threes, or if our turnovers are high, like all these things that we complaining about during this stretch right now, even though we're winning, I don't know if we survive playoff games with those same things.
Exactly.
With those same occurrences.
Exactly. It's about the habits, Fred. That's what like it or not, the regular season, the entire season is one big tournament. I don't care what you say, Fred and Sean. It's one big tournament. If it wasn't one big tournament, then everybody would make the playoffs. Everybody doesn't make the playoffs. People get eliminated. If your record isn't good enough, you get eliminated and you don't make the playoffs, which makes the entire season one big tournament. Now, if you said to me, or not if you said to me, if everybody made the playoffs and then you said to me the regular season don't matter, I would agree. Because at that point, it's just practice. Right? And it's all just practice up until, not that practices don't matter, but, you know, as far as records, you know, and all of that stuff, who's going to win and all of that. Then I would say, yeah, I get it. It don't matter. Besides building habits, that part of it, that part's always going to matter. But from what you're saying, the standpoint that you're coming from, Fred and Sean, the standpoint that you're coming from is that these games don't count record-wise and for the playoffs and all of that. Well, the entire season is one big tournament. I don't know if anyone on the line is from D.C., but there's a big high school, even open, you know, for any age, tournament called the New York Ave Tournament in D.C. Big tournament from grade school on up. Now, it's not just one tournament played over 2 or 3 days. No, there's an entire season that goes through the entire summer. And you play a certain amount of games. And then when you play those games, they determine your seeding for the elimination rounds. It's one big tournament. If you've ever played AAU ball, you might play 5 games. When you play those 5 games in your bracket, it determines who you're going to play when they start eliminating teams from the tournament. The NBA, it's just one big tournament. And if you don't qualify for the elimination rounds, the NBA doesn't put it that way, but that's what it is. You play, and then you may not qualify for the elimination rounds. That's that. But the fact that you don't automatically make the playoffs makes it one big tournament. So yeah, it means something. It means something in the aspect of your records and whether or not you make the playoffs, and it means something in the aspect of building habits. Building good habits, building bad habits, and bringing those habits into the playoffs. That's what it's for. You know, you keep pointing out that a team won 70 games, a team won this, a team won that, and they got eliminated. Just because they won games does not mean they built. Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much, Sean. Tony, I would really like to thank Sean for this comment because he's proven exactly what I'm saying. He said Cleveland won 70 games in the regular season and they were ass in the playoffs. I don't want to hear about the regular season, but you're actually proving my point. Just like this game tonight. You said, see, you're kind of contradicting yourself now, Sean, because you said it doesn't matter how we win, just win. I don't care what it looks like, just win. But now you turn around and say, well, Cleveland won 70 games, but they were terrible in the playoffs. Well, you know why? Because maybe even though they won games, they didn't build the correct habits. They didn't win the right way. They were winning games because they had more talent, but they didn't build the habits to beat the playoff teams. Right? That's the reason why a team can win so many games in the regular season but still lose in the playoffs, because it's about the habits that you build. And sometimes winning disguises your bad habits. And so you don't fix those bad habits. And maybe Cleveland had some bad habits that they didn't fix because they were winning games. And they won. They didn't care how they won. They won. Anything else didn't matter. They won. So there's nothing to fix, according to you, Sean.
And from my perspective with Cleveland, I don't even know if they even got to learn their bad habits because their margin of victory was so high.
Exactly.
So they never really even had to deal with adversity until the playoffs. So once they got hit with the adversity, they didn't even have to deal with that in the regular season to reference it.
Right.
But I mean, it's the same thing that you're saying, you know what I mean? But
that's exactly what I'm saying. Right? They're winning. So it disguised and you had nothing to go back to say, that's what it is. So the regular season means a lot because it's where you build habits. Like it or not, Tom Thibodeau helped the team build very good habits, and it carried them through the playoffs. We're going to see what kind of habits this team has really built. I know I've seen the habit of them losing focus. I've seen that. That's happened a lot throughout the season, in my opinion. We've seen them start slow, especially recently. We've seen them give up leads. Tonight, gave up a double-digit lead. We've seen them do that throughout the entire season. Now, they had some things that they kind of fixed. There was a point where they were giving up mad points in the paint. I think they got that under control. Mm-hmm. There was a point where they were giving up mad open threes. They kind of got that under control. It's better.
I think they made a conscious decision and said we're not doing both. Yeah. Focused on the points in the paint. But I just wanted to add that, just on a positive note, the one consistent, even during this stretch of us not, slow starts and all. Like I gotta say, and this is something that could we could bring into the playoffs and hang our hat on. And our defense, like our defense has really been solid. You know what I mean? Like if we
Yeah.
really think about it, what we're complaining about or what we're like down on right now is the offense. Is not the defense. You know what I mean? We're figuring out how to get stops with you know what I mean, they changed some schemes defensively, like and we're still in that stretch of the number one defense from a certain time point. You know what I mean, to current. So if we hold on to that, you know what I mean, we could still win some games in the playoffs. It may not be pretty, you know what I mean, but and I believe the offense will find itself. So just a positive note I want to throw out there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I mean, listen, there's a lot of positive to the season, and I'm not discounting anything positive about this basketball team. You know what I'm saying? Because we obviously have we've developed some good habits. Obviously we can come back, right? Right? We can come back. We can correct mistakes mid-game.
In game adjustments.
In game
we
adjustments,
really didn't see much.
right? In game adjustments, we can correct mistakes. Which is one of the reasons why we're able to come back, or lose a lead, give up a lead, and then still win a game. Right? We've learned how to do those things. We're finding our roles. Right? We're finding our roles. I still think we're figuring out our best way to play offensively. Although we lack focus, we're a team that's not going to stop. We're not going to give up. I'll say that. So, yeah, we got some good habits, but we also got some bad habits. We're going to see how it plays out. We're going to see how it plays out. You know what I mean? I don't know. I know a lot of people be mad at me. That's all right. Fred said we can win 82 games and it won't mean a damn thing if we don't win in the playoffs and finals. Meaning the regular season means nothing for the obvious playoff teams. Okay. If that's what you want to think, that's what you think. Because you're obviously missing the point of what the playoff of what the regular season is actually for. Right? Because you're the one mentioning the amount of wins. I'm not mentioning the amount of wins. Right? I've said
it's how we're playing.
It's how we're playing. Time and time again. It's how we are playing. So right now, Fred, you're basically defending a win. You're on the side of Sean saying, we won the game. It don't matter what it looked like. We won the game. What are you arguing? What are you mad about? Right? You're defending the win, but then you sit around and send a message, a comment saying, wins don't mean anything, but you're defending the win. I'm basically saying the win don't mean a damn thing. It's how we play. That's what I'm telling you. I don't care that we won. It's the habits that we build. That's what I'm complaining about. If I was taking your stance and Sean's stance, I wouldn't have anything to complain about. But shit, we won. No, I'm looking at it differently. I'm looking at the habits that we're building and how we're playing. It's not about the win or the loss. It's how we're playing. And for some reason, you don't understand that. You're kind of contradicting yourself, both of you guys, because you're defending the win, but then you want to say wins don't mean nothing. And all I'm saying is It's how we play, the habits we build that carry us into the playoffs. That's what I'm concerned about. That's what I'm concerned about. And you all should be too, in my opinion. Good habits equals good results. Bad habits equal bad results. Just what it is, man. Just what it is. You know, just a quick, little side note. Tony, I took a plunge. I took a plunge the other day. I didn't know I was going to take. I didn't know I was going to take it. And as a Nas fan, some people might be mad at me, but I spent $1,800 to go see Jay-Z at the Roots picnic.
Roots picnic, I know it.
Yeah.
I know it.
I bought VIP tickets, 2 tickets. Spent $1,800 for them joints. It better be a damn good concert, yo. It's 2 days. It's a 2-day festival. It's in May 30th and 31st.
Yeah, I know. I was like, see, I ain't mad at you, Sim, because I thought about it. But I'm like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah. And I feel like that's just the prerequisite to whatever he gonna do at the Barclay. So I'm gonna just wait for the Barclay.
Yeah,
that's the 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt, 25-year anniversary of another album. So
yeah, you know, it's so far it looks like it's gonna be a dope lineup.
Oh, they dropped the lineup? Because I know initially they was just like Jay-Z. That's it.
So it's Jay-Z and the Roots, obviously. Erykah Badu, Brandy, T.I., De La Soul is gonna be there. You know, some other people that's lined up to be there as well. But, you know, I mean, obviously Jay-Z, Erykah Badu, T.I., Brandy, De La Soul. Really looking forward. DJ Jazzy Jeff's gonna have a little block party. You know what I mean? Should be pretty dope. Pretty dope. And then, yeah, like the Roots are doing their thing. Then there's out in California, they're having a concert with Nas.
Okay. You did that too?
I'm thinking about it. It's in August. It's Nas and the Roots. And then who else is there? Let me see. Got the thing here. It's Nas and the Roots. There's, let me see, Nas and the Roots. Oh, and De La Soul.
Okay.
And I think T.I. is going to be there as well. And there's maybe a couple other people that's going to be there. Yeah, I dropped $1,800.
Let me know before you do that one. You know what I mean? Give me a couple of weeks if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, I looked at it, you know, it's general admission. I think there is like a little, not a true VIP like this one is. Like this VIP is, you know, like is a good VIP. You know, the one with Nas and the Roots, a little bit different, but all together, I mean, I think tickets are like $202.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not too bad.
It's really about the flight and all that.
Yeah, it's the flight and all that. You know, that's gonna cost you. And they got a couple of dates, so it's not just like one date. Obviously, the Roots picnic is just one date.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, drop it.
That's what's up, though, man. Congrats. I'm sure you're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be iconic. It's gonna be iconic just for the J slot. You
right.
Know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like if you don't come out too often, it's been some years. So
yeah, it's been a while. I mean,
I'm sure he had the itch.
That joint better be right. $1,800. That joint better be right. You know what I'm saying? I need to get some content off of that so I can make some of that $1,800 back.
Absolutely. And that's just that part, you know what I mean? You still gotta do the stay, the travel, the food, you know what I mean?
Man,
my bad.
We buying oodles and noodles Eating them joints. That's what we do.
Thug it out,
We
man.
get oodles
Thug it
and
out.
noodles and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches the entire weekend. Shit.
Thug it out, man.
Nah. Yeah. Nah, it should be pretty dope. It should be fun.
That's
You know what I mean? It should be fun. That's gonna be a nice one. You know, it's one for the ages, one for the books. You know what I'm saying? Sean said he spent the same for his concert at Yankee Stadium. So you must have bought you know, some type like VIP type tickets too. But this is Jay-Z and the Roots, so you know you get a little bit more. And obviously it's outside, right? So, but with the VIP tickets, you're able to get, you know, you're not inside, but you're under a tent.
It's a pavilion or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like a little pavilion or something. You got your own place to buy drinks. You got your own entrance so you can avoid the crowd, and there's a bunch of other stuff that's with it.
That's what's up, man.
So, I mean, tickets itself, even general admission was like, I think 4 or something. So,
I was gonna say, the only thing is now you're not gonna want to do it any other way.
well,
You just set the bar. So.
you know, well, look.
I'm just saying. It's like when you upgrade to first class. It's like,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
this is what it was.
I mean, the
this
thing is,
what
I
it's
knew it
like.
was gonna, you know, I looked at the tickets and I was like, all right. And then she was like, can we do the VIP? I was like, word? And this was the silver VIP, not even the gold VIP. We got the silver VIP. The gold VIP would have been like 2,500 to 3,000, somewhere in there. You know what I'm saying? And I was thinking about it, I was like, damn. I was like, you know, let's look at this a little bit deeper before we just take the plunge. You know what I'm saying? I always got to look at, you know, no matter how much money I got, I always just got to make sure I'm looking and seeing and know, okay, how I'm gonna knock this off. You know what I'm saying? So I took a look at everything, and I was like, all right, you know, let's do it. I was like, you get the hotel, I'll get that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we doing it. You know what I'm saying? And the Roots and Jay, that should be pretty dope. That should be dope.
No.
That should be dope. You know, Black Thought obviously is gonna perform. You know, that should be dope. Yeah. You know, that's in May. I'll see how things go if we get to the one in San Diego, where I just came from San Diego not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? I would love to go back.
San Diego?
It's in San Diego. It's a couple of them. It's a couple of them, like the 26th, 27th, and 28th of August. You know, all like down Cali. You know, all down hitting different cities in Southern California. You know what I mean? Obviously, I was looking at the one in San Diego because, you know, I want to go back to San Diego. It was dope. So, yeah, I'll see. Yeah, I'll see. See if I hit that one up. I know we took a detour, you know what I'm saying, talking about the Knicks and whatnot. Claude said, with your money, do you charter a plane? What you mean, do I charter? What you mean with my money? What you mean with my money? And do I charter a plane? I mean, I don't charter one just for me. And we'll probably be driving to Philly for that Roots concert instead of taking a plane. We'll see, but we'll most likely be driving. You know, it's gonna be dope though. It's gonna be dope. Precious said, listen to the Haven, save your money. It's already spent, bro. It's done deal. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Jay got it. The Roots got it. They got it. They got that joint in their pockets. Now, I did purchase the trip protection, you know, just in case anything. So,
hey, right now it's about memories and experiences.
Yeah, word.
You know what I mean? So
word. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you're paying for.
That's what I'm paying for. You know what I'm saying? I just turned 50. I got a right to spend my money.
Go have a good time.
You know what I'm saying? I've been saving that joint for years and years and years and years and years, not spending it. Just like, just trying to stack
those
it.
memories. That's what I'm
You know
doing.
what I'm saying? So, without a doubt. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. When do we play the Wizards?
I don't know. I haven't been on it like that this season.
I think it's Sunday. Let me check it.
Yeah, probably.
We play the Wizards. Yeah, Sunday, 7:30. Madison Square Garden.
I'll get the second half.
Yeah. So
and then Tuesday. I know we play Tuesday.
And then Tuesday we play the Pelicans, right? And then Thursday we play the Hornets, and then next Sunday, the 29th, we play the Thunder on NBC. Okay. Looking forward to that in OKC. I'm definitely looking forward to that. You know what I'm saying? Claude said it's be safe, it's dangerous out there. Yeah, that's why we got them VIT joints away from the crowd. I don't like being in the crowd. I start getting defensive when I'm in the crowd, and I don't like people bumping me. So, yeah, we'll be away from the crowd. But yeah, we play Washington on Sunday, 7:30. We should be able to. We better take care of business. Better take care of business on that one. Any Claude said one of his sons is 50. Congratulations to you, bro. Congratulations to you.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. Any last words before we get out of here, Tony?
I'm looking to do something tomorrow night. So just, look out for that.
All right.
I gotta think of something to talk about because I don't want to talk about this game again.
Word. Yeah.
I was hoping we had another 50-point joint so I could, we could have stretched that out. But I guess I'm gonna talk about how concerned I really am about, where we are so far and what can we do in these last 11 to kind of settle my nerves?
No doubt. I don't think anybody's nerves are gonna be settled. This is one of those seasons where the Knicks are expected to do something great. Everything's gonna be scrutinized, guys. We know that. The expectations are high for this basketball team. You know what I mean? So, just hey, that's what it is. It is what it is. Anyway, we're up out of here. We appreciate your time. You know what I mean? Be easy with yourself. Have a great weekend. If I don't see you tomorrow, I'll definitely see you on Sunday. Spread love, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody. I love all y'all. Even Sean. Fred. Y'all get on my nerves, but I love you guys anyway, man. You always show up. I definitely appreciate your support. 100%. You guys are always here. Everybody that's here, you're always here. I appreciate all of your support. I am waiting for Sean to call in, though. I've been waiting for that for a couple of years. He's never called in. You know what I mean? But I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you. Be peaceful. Have a great weekend. We're up out of here. One.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.